A Surrey police constable has been found to have committed gross misconduct after turning up to work whilst over the prescribed limit for fitness for duty. Yes, that's actually a thing, whereas driving with alcohol in your system requires you to have more than 35 milligrams of alcohol per 100 millilitres of breath. If you're plod and you have just 13 milligrams per 100 millilitres of breath, you are deemed as unfit to work, which is a breach of one of the police professional standards of fitness for duty. Now, former police constable Jurgen Lovbakke, who was based at Guildford, turned up to work smelling like Elizabeth Taylor after a night out. He was asked to partake in a breath test which found he was over the limit for fitness for duty. In his recent misconduct hearing, it was found that Jurgen Lovbakke was in fact unfit for duty and therefore breached the standards of professional behaviour in relation to fitness for work and was dismissed. A Surrey police statement said, had the officer still been serving, they would have been dismissed without notice, and so they were placed on a College of Policing's barred list to prevent future employment in law enforcement or similar. Now, what I find particularly interesting about this is that there are many cases and incidents where police have put themselves on duty whilst on a night out and drunk and got away with it. What I mean is that as soon as somebody identifies themselves as a police constable or shows a warrant card during an interaction, they're putting themselves on duty. I don't mean like where they simply tell someone that that's their job, but if they try to use any of the powers and privileges of holding that warrant card, such as trying to intimidate someone or trying to get some kind of gain for being in the police, or if they get themselves involved in an incident and pull out the warrant card or make an arrest or detention of someone whilst they're off duty and drunk, which is a way of them trying to exercise the powers and privileges of the role in order to achieve some kind of benefit for themselves or a detriment to another person. This would mean that if an off-duty copper makes an arrest or detention, told you they were police during an altercation of some kind and they were 13 milligrams per 100 millilitres of breath, then they are over the prescribed limit and unfit for work, which would ultimately mean that an investigation or so-called investigation and their witness statement would be called into question because it couldn't be used as a statement or investigation carried out by a competent police constable due to their fitness for work. So if you're out and about and some moron starts flashing their warrant card or threatening you because they're the police and they've clearly had a drink, then make sure you get it on camera so as to not have that fact omitted from police reports, and make sure that you get on camera the person acting in the capacity or saying something in the capacity of a police constable, so that anything that you then say or do after is pretty much all evidence in your favour. And if Professional Standards Department refuses to do anything about their fitness for work, and remember, if they act in the capacity of a constable, then they are putting themselves on duty, then you take it further. And I would also say you have reasonable grounds to appeal any conviction if it's based on the testimony of a police constable who was over the prescribed limit for fitness for duty. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to record every drink that they've drunk, but their behaviour, their demeanour on camera could well be enough to prove that they were not fit for duty and therefore not fit to be relied on as a credible witness to events.